by users and the beneficiaries as approved by the County Assembly. E, income shares contract. And F, any other lawful means that is not considered as borrowing under Kenyan law. So that is section 9 of our legislation, and the tenant purchase scheme is the one under 9A. Thank you very much.
Are you saying there's absence of national legislation to govern loans and guarantees and annuities and tenant purchase schemes, such that you enacted legislation because there was no national legislation?
Chair, the legislation that you are referring to is the one that I have read.
No. I'm asking you as the county attorney.
Yes.
Because we have had this conversation earlier on the facility financing, that where there is national legislation that has taken care of a matter, county legislation cannot try to rewrite it. So I'm asking, in the PFM Act, PFM regulations, even in the Constitution, are there provisions that would govern how counties execute contracts like tenant purchase schemes?
And Chair, just as he takes that question, Wakili, there is a proviso you've read at the end there. Unfortunately, I don't have the benefit of a copy of that legislation. Just that proviso at the end that talks about things that are not considered borrowing. Is it my understanding that the things that you've listed prior to that proviso are not considered borrowing?
Yes, actually, the intention is to expressly exclude borrowing. And in fact, Chairman, the question that you've asked as to why we have come to this legislation is because we relied on Article 207, 2A, that allows a county government to set up legislation to allow for a charge on the CRF.
Just a minute, Wakili.
Yes.
Let's go slowly. You are saying the things you've read for us up there, including a tenant purchase scheme, is not considered borrowing?
I'm saying that the things that we have provided for in our legislation for 2023, the intention was to expressly exclude borrowing. Why? Because if you look at the Constitution, when you talk about borrowing, then you'll have to go to Article 212, which allows for borrowing of counties if there is legislation by the Parliament. So what we relied on was Article 207, 2A of the Constitution, which then was the legal constitutional basis for us to come up with this legislation, and listed all those items that I've read under Section 9 of this legislation.
Wakili, that section you're referring to empowers you to establish funds, and that's okay. I think there's something reasonably excluded. That's okay. But the Constitution is not silent. In Article 212, it says a county government may borrow only if the national government guarantees the loan. The question we have on the table, did you take a loan? Is a tenant purchase scheme a loan?
No.
It's not even about the fund. Is a TPS a loan? For example, I have a TPS with NSSF. They charge an interest over 15 years. What I pay at the end of 15 years, I'll own the building. Is that a loan? Yes. I have been forced to take mortgage insurance over it. Would I take mortgage insurance if it wasn't a loan? So can we then define this animal we have? Is it a loan?
Yeah, and Chair, just to be clear, because sometimes things get lost in semantics. There are very basic ingredients of a loan.
Correct.
Number one, if the money building that house is not yours, it belongs to someone else and you have to repay it by whatever arrangement. That's the basic definition of a loan. So how can we be arguing on whether a TPS and there's an interest charged on it? It's not your money. You've taken it from someplace else. You are given opportunity to repay in installments. There is an interest that is charged on it. If that is not a loan in Homa Bay, I don't know where the borders of Homa Bay are, Chair. Because once you cross this side, that's a loan.
Look, Governor, and you see this is an extremely important point, not just for Homa Bay. The rest of the 46 counties have got serious infrastructural gaps. We went to Mombasa, they need 1.1 billion to build a stadium. If this is the right route we will tell Mombasa, go to CPF, do that thing because it's within the law. You go to every other county, there is an infrastructural gap. So we must agree on the legal constitutional basis of this approach. And if we all agree this is a way to go, I think we'll advise other counties to come and benchmark in Homa Bay. So let's not talk about the fund, treasury, what? Is this alone?
Chairman, the answer is no. This is a charge under Article 207(2)(a) of the Constitution.
Chair, can I
What do you just expound that a little bit? Because as we said that the framers of the Constitution decided to introduce Article 212 for good reason.
Yes, and that's what you were saying, Chairman. When we were coming up with this legislation, we consulted quite a bit. And the consultation was...
Chair, I think we are getting lost in semantics and time is running.
Okay.
Charge and a loan are the same thing. What does he mean by this is not a loan? It is a loan because if the bill that has been attached in Annex 21A, the CPF is indicating that they have used 820 million Kenyan shillings. So you must pay with an interest because even as we take a charge in our mortgage in Parliament, and we pay 3% interest, and Governor Wanga was a member of Parliament here, and I don't know whether she took the mortgage, maybe she's better off now. But the point I'm trying to make is this cannot be money where you work to CPF, they give you 820 million, then you return 820 million. Is that what Wakil is telling us?
Chair.
Okay, Wakili, just take the questions from the Senator Ombua.
Thank you, Chair.
And I'm not finished.
Chair.
Can I finish just one minute?
Okay.
Then
Okay, do it in a minute when you look at the time.
two things I need here, the agreement that they signed between CPF and the county, and then how are they intending to repay? Is it securitization of the revenue or what? How are they intending to repay this amount? I yield back.
Thank you. Senator Ombua.
You know, Chair, the beauty of it is that our friend, the governor, when I look at our records, she was an effective chair of the Finance Committee in Parliament. So definitely she understands if there is a difference between a charge and a loan. The thing that, Chair, I want to get clearly from the attorney, so that we don't really get lost in semantics. Whose money has been used to put up the facility? Where's the attorney?
I can take that.
Okay, so you take a number of them, eh? So whose money has been used to build the facility? Secondly, is there a repayment of that money? Is there going to be a repayment of that money? And thirdly, is there an interest to be paid on the money that has been used? Now, Chair, if then the response is that somebody else's money has been used to put up the facility, and that the county government of Homa Bay will have to repay that money over a period of time, and there is an interest that is going to be charged on that money, then Chair, it doesn't matter what you call that thing. It's a loan. That's what it is.
Yeah. For me, Chair.
Okay, Senator Maruma.
Yeah, the TPS was anchored on the law called Homa Bay County Infrastructure Financing Fund. How is it possible to execute it without opening the SPA, the Special Purpose Account? Because then, ab initio, the TPS started without following the law.
Chair, I was just trying to find the provision that establishes the central bank. But on this controversy, I think we can all agree that the central bank, as the chief bank of government and the one that sets policy for everyone else to follow, should be the guide, Chair, on what should have happened in this particular case. In fact, instead of stressing the county attorney there, the letter from the central bank dated June 11th, 2024, is for me instructive, Honorable Chair. If you go to, actually both paragraphs, but I just want you to take note of what the central bank is saying at paragraph 2, that further as a standard practice, counties and indeed all the public entities at all levels of government requesting CBK to open special program accounts usually obtain and submit a very specific no objection letter from the National Treasury to operate those specified fund accounts. And the county, having been properly guided by the central bank, Honorable Chair, they needed to comply with those directives. And I don't think, because I have not seen the correspondence from Treasury, what I suspect, Honorable Chair, is if that correspondence exists, they would have been given the same guidance that you have given, that such arrangements require the guarantee of a national government. And that's why probably that letter is not here.
Okay, we can allow the governor to respond to the various issues, and we can make them quick fire responses because we are supposed to be out of here in another 10 minutes.
Thank you very much. I think Senator Mambua asked whose money was used for these purposes. This is county pensions money. It's our pensions kept by CPF coming back to invest, as pensions do across the world. Is there repayment? Yes, we make a monthly payment to the county pensions fund. Now not passing through the special purpose account because we have not been able to open it yet, but directly to CPF. Is there a cost of money? Yes, there is a cost of money embedded within the 820 million.
Just to be specific, is there an interest? That's what you are calling cost of money. And what is it?
The amount that we are paying as tenant purchase, we are paying the 820 million. So every amount has been worked in within that 820
So how much of that is interest? Because, you know, the conventional TPS is that you get a purchase price, but because you're paying over a period of time, an interest is levied. This seems to be the other way around.
So the purchase price for this,
Is 820.
office is 820.
What is the annual interest?
No, that is what we pay to CPF.
Oh, if you want
So in the
to note,
820, how much is interest within the 820?
Chair, it would just take.
We are occupying a building done by CPF. We pay them an amount every month that will amount to 820 million.
Chair, if you want to know what the interest is, you
Cost.
just minus the cost of the project, the cost of the actual construction from the payment, 820. So I thought I saw a figure somewhere of the total cost of the project was how much? Not what you're paying.
It's 820.
The cost of the construction. Governor, you know how you are very clear on how much it costs to build a 2-door toilet in Kaksingri. How much does it take to put up that office block? Minus what you're paying, or minus from what you're paying, we will get the figure of the interest.
Correct.
It's that simple.
Okay.
Like Chairman, through you,
Yeah,
the
yes,
contract that was ink and paper, what was spent between CPF and the county, what was the figure?
820.
820.
Yes. So, Chairman, maybe what I could say is because the issue we were responding to, raised by the auditor, was the issue of special purpose account.
County governments.
Correct.
And that's why we must establish the constitutionality and the legality and how procedural this is.
No, Chair, we are not doubting the building. I know who opened it. So the issue is, I know who opened it. So the issue is the legality of the process.
You must have been present at the opening.
Yeah, personally, I suspect that there is absolutely no way that the county government of Homa Bay cannot know the amount of money that was put in that structure. It's not possible. I remember getting into an argument with one of the other governors who came here. I think she was talking about a hospital that was being built. I think it was Runyenjes or something like that. And they were saying even the BQs, there is someone in this team who has seen the BQs of that hospital and they know exactly how much. But because there is a cost of financing, Governor, so that if the procurement laws were followed, then you should have been telling the Senate and the people of Homa Bay, this is the best deal we could get you in terms of the cost of financing vis-a-vis the building that we are getting. Someone in that team has that answer.
I think the governor referred to the procurement team. Who's the head of procurement? Could you tell us, did you do a professional opinion on this?
Yes.
And just go on record, introduce yourself. Were you in the room when so do you even know what we are talking about?
Honorable Chair, I've been keenly following, so I know what.
Okay,
Just
introduce yourself.
Yeah.
Thank you, Honorable Chair and Honorable Senator. My name is Peter Odiango, Head of Procurement, Homa Bay County, member KISM 66721. So kindly ask the question.
But you said you have been following. What question did you come to answer?
And Honorable Senator, until I reach the door,
No. Homa Bay is more, Governor, our county is more serious than this. Now, the question was, the tenant purchase agreement for the 820 million county headquarters, which procurement procedure was followed?
Honorable Senator, the Procurement Act, we have several procurement methods. And we use
just tell us the one that was followed, because we must be out of here in 5 minutes.
We used an open tender method, and what we are doing is to do tenant purchase. And the Procurement Act also allows for lease and even TPS.
Don't tell us what the law says. It's in black and white. Just tell us what you did.
We used an open tender method.
Okay.
Yes.
Open tender, there were advertisements?
Yes.
There were how many respondents?
During pre-tender site visit, there were 5, but the final submission was done by one tenderer, which is CPF.
And you did a professional opinion on that?
Yes.
And that is all on record?
Yes.
As you tendered, what was the indicative cost of the project? Because we must know the cost of the project, then people bid, and then take the lowest bidder, but that bidder cannot be lower than the cost of that project.
The shared cost, which was floated by the tender, was over 900 million, but since the tender was won, we went and negotiated and came back to 20 million.
Members, we have 10 minutes to go to the House.
But just on that one, because the gentleman belongs to a professional body. I even heard him telling us the membership number. How is it that you do an estimate for the construction of the facility, and according to you, the person is floating the tender, the cost is 900 million. Then, because there is only one responsive tenderer, you sit down and reduce the cost of the project, you negotiate downwards. What did you eliminate from the project?
Those are details, honorable member. But we have minutes to that effect, so that we were.
Is that the way it works, Chair?
I thought he said that there was only one. The final person.
Yes.
Quoted 900.
Yes.
But you revised it down to 820.
Yes.
But what was your BQ?
We did not have a BQ because what you wanted.
Oh, so you took anything that was available in the market?
Honorable Chair, I wish you could listen to me. When you want to purchase a space, even here, You only give the specification of what you want. I want a room, this measurements, and
Chair, just on a point of order, looking at time, we are not in a classroom. Just answer specific question.
It's going well, Senator.
No,
we need to be specific.
we love expressing our English, so just understand, my friend.
But looking at time and English, it doesn't add up. So the point I'm trying is, we are just specific, Chair. You have asked a question, was there a big queue?
No, he was explaining something and we have follow-up questions. I think, Chair, you allow him to proceed.
Okay, please, I'll give you 3 minutes.
Here we like to give people enough rope to hang themselves.
Honorable Chair, what we have done in the document is that we wanted an office block. It's, in simple terms, we wanted somewhere to sit like this room. So we give specification of what you want. Then the owner of the room will give their price, what they can offer. So we had specification of exactly what we needed, and that's what we had put in the tender document.
Did you have a budget? Because the budget then drives the kind of stuff you're looking for.
Yes,
here in Nairobi, you can decide to sit at Delta, you can decide to sit in Lavington, or you can decide to sit on River Road, depending on your budget.
Yes.
So when you went to market, what was your budget?
Also, Chair, because when you're building a county headquarters, you're essentially looking for a space that can accommodate the county executive. You know your staff establishment, the sort of numbers of the people that you need. You can't just say you're looking for a space to sit, because the ultimate intention, from what I gather, is to have one central place where the entire county government is. Yes. So that cannot be something that is left to the tenant purchase service provider, that I'm looking for a 3-bedroom house and then he tells me he has a 2-bedroom in Buruburu.
Maybe before he answers that particular question, the county secretary was at the forefront of providing, it was a very detailed process. Maybe we haven't expressed it well enough. Because of the magnitude of the project, we wanted to cover every ground. So I want to ask the county secretary on the question that Senator is asking around the issue of, did we just go and say we want a space? Because I remember we had several meetings with officers, departments, cabinet, everybody. County secretary, just on that specific one.
County secretary, just in 2 minutes.
Professor.
Thank you, Chair. What we did first was to assess the number of people that need to occupy this space. And we looked at all those who need to sit at the headquarters. We are not including those who are sitting at the sub-counties. And then from there, we knew also different cadres of officers. We have the CCMs, we have the chief officers, we have the directors, and we gave very specific instruction on what a director office need to look like, what the CEC office need to look like. And based on this, we counted all the spaces that are required, plus the number of people who are required, and that's what we put in the tender.
But in your mind, you didn't have, because if you have all those specifications, then you cannot fail to have a cost specification.
For money, it will go to the chief officer, sorry, the CC, but mine was to how many people need to sit there, what type of space that they need, and from there we could do the estimate.
Members, I think also for neatness of this, we must set up a separate meeting.
And also the county pension fund must be here.
Yeah, we must set up a separate meeting, because we might come to conclusions without interrogating all the facets. We must look at the legality and the constitutionality of this approach, and we must also look at the procurement elements, and we must thoroughly test this model such that if we find it to be lawful and constitutional and prudent, we can make a recommendation to other counties to follow the same model. I believe we'll be better off as a Senate, or the people of Homa Bay will be better off if you have a proper detailed inquiry where the procurement officer is not just talking off the cuff, he's talking on the basis of professional documents, professional opinion, and procedures that were adhered to. I don't know what you feel.
And Chair, you know, when I looked at the profile of the county secretary, he's a professor, an engineer. I thought that should be more detailed, but then time doesn't allow. Really, we start with the architectural design, then engineer's estimates and everything. I thought you'd give us that. But as Chair, you rule that let's have opportunity to give the county government enough time to explain this model, because then that can be given to other counties to also use to have their infrastructure in place.
Yeah, if time was on our side, we would have spent more time on it, but
include the county pension fund, they should be here. And also the issue of repayment, because that has not been answered, Chair. And also
yeah, you asked something around securitization.
Securitization of revenue and how that payment will be done. And I have seen the report also of health and occupation. It is just one page, so I don't know. There is a principle of wezi kama hata kama wewe ni kinyozi wezi jinywa. I've seen the department that approve occupation is a part of the departments in the county. So maybe those are questions we can further inquire into.
Fine.
So that when Wambua becomes the governor, he can borrow this model.
Senator Wambua?
Yeah. Chalage and your obsession with me becoming governor is now, I don't know. So Chair, I think first of all, we must also, Governor Gladys, you know, these are 2023 arrangements, if I got it right. Personally, from where I sit, I must give it to you that between 2023 and 2026, 2025, you have a block. I mean, let's begin from there. Yeah, there are counties like some that are seated next to me that started their projects.
Chair, you know, you can't compare. I'm sorry to say.
I thought Sifuna is also sitting next to Wambua. I don't know why you're jittering.
Don't compare. By the way, credit to Omar. You know, if you go to Nyamira, we started our county headquarters in 2013. We have spent close to what she has spent, but we have nothing. So I'm just sitting here.
Let me finish
and that's why if this is the right model, we can export it to other
by
counties.
the way, this gentleman, the lawyer, should read.
Have you taken the floor from me?
Should read. You know, if you read how United States acquired Louisiana, it was purchased by Thomas Jefferson in 1803, and he was faced with what I had the gentleman trying to explain: the strict or liberal interpretation of the Constitution. Because Jefferson needed to summon Congress to authorize his borrowing. But he thought because America needed to acquire that territory and River Mississippi, he bought the territory and sought to explain to Congress what he did later. I think that's what Governor Omabe has done. So let's say if
I thought he was being helpful.
if in all fairness, you know, if you pick the case of Omabe and the case of Nyamira, if the case of CPF can work the way it has worked, if it can deliver an office within 6 months, I'd rather go this route than go through what is happening in Nyamira. We don't have county headquarters. We are housed by the county, how do you call them? The provincial administration, then the county commissioner. That's where we're housed.
Senator Wambua, take back your mic.
So I agree with you that let's interrogate this.
All angles.
If CPF can deliver within 6 months, I'll pick that model.
That's okay. Now, what we say after this may not be on record because it's already 2:30. So I was trying to say, Governor, for bringing up that facility within that period of time, and it's there. You know, it's not a ghost. It's there. It's a facility. I think for that, really, you must be commended. But then you know there is a process, and it will be very good for you to come at some point and talk to us as a Senate on that process that you used and see whether that process can also be used in other counties. Nyamira is talking here. If Nandi starts to speak, you will hear very interesting things. But really, we must also stick to the law. You know, there's a law and the law must be followed. So, Chair, let's find time to engage on this issue. If for me, where I sit, if this is a model that can be used, when I become what Senator Cheragi always keeps saying I will become, then I can use this model to do a lot of things. So let's just be sure that we are on the right side of
Yeah, unlocking domestic resources, particularly from pension funds, it's a big conversation, even in the global arena. A lot of pension fund money sits idle, and we can be creative around it. But as we said, it must be in compliance with the law. Now, do we agree that this is an important matter that goes beyond Homa Bay County, that would require us to have a conversation, find out from Treasury why they didn't give the no objection letter, find out from CPF their perspective of the matter, and also from the county government of Homa Bay, and if there's any other county government, yeah, Article 201, Article 212, and all those things. This requires a separate inquiry. We have dealt with just a few of the issues that were in the report. There were one or two other things that we would have dealt with if time allowed. We would have wanted to look at your on-source revenue report, which is fairly good compared to other counties. We would have wanted to find out the measures you are putting in place to deal with the 55% that you're paying on HR and a few other residual matters. We will advise on how we'll deal with those matters, because I know the auditors are almost coming for the in-year audit. I don't know whether they're coming this month or next month.
Sure, it's this month. We have already started some of the end clients.
Yes,
it's in progress.
So we'll advise you, because some of these things can be within the scope of the audit for 25, 26. There are a number of prior year matters that we have not dealt with that are still outstanding. The projects, the Kigoto, the animal feed project, all that. Let's make sure that they don't get lost in your audit for 25, 26. But this one on the tenant purchase scheme is something that is topical that we must deal with even as the audit goes on. Honourable members, any closing remarks, or we allow the governor to make closing remarks? When I look at the time, we are 4 minutes out of time. Governor?
Thank you very much, Chairman and Honorable Senators. I want to thank you very much for the discussions that we have had. Every time we come to the Senate, it's a learning experience. On this matter of the infrastructure financing, from a county government perspective, I think it is a matter to be looked into further. As I said, there was a lot of detail that went in and even a lot of detail after. But there's always that external eye that looks, which is the Senate. And I think if we have an opportunity to have a conversation with CPF, Treasury, and everybody else, then we will see that we have a big window. Right now, many counties are in discussions with CPF to progress this model. So if there are any gaps, I think it is important for us to have that conversation and be in agreement so that we progress in a way that we know is lawful and covers every ground. So, but instead of pension funds just sitting, especially just sitting, it is a very, very good way to use it to do hospitals, to do other major infrastructure that you cannot do on the piecemeal money that we get every month. Thank you so much, Chairman and the Senators, for having given us this time. We are always available, accountable, and willing to learn as we progress in this PFM space.
Well, I want to acknowledge the County Assembly for doing the right thing in terms of considering the audit reports. We will look at your report as we also compile ours, and also the delegation that came with the governor. I come from Homa Bay, and I would never pray for Homa Bay to fail. I would always want Homa Bay to succeed. Even as I sit here as the chair of the Public Accounts Committee, the questions we ask, the inquiries we make, are with a view to ensuring that Homa Bay succeeds. Because if Homa Bay succeeds, I also succeed. If the county government of Homa Bay fails, there will be nobody to understand that I was at the Senate and the governor was at the county level. So let's look at it as a partnership, and let's look at Senate as a place where perhaps there could be sometimes hard questions, but they are hard questions that allow you to reflect and allow you to maybe adjust your sails or continue doing the right things that you're doing. I hope that out of this session, there'll be one or two things that you'll go back and rectify. But I also believe that my colleagues could have picked one or two things that are happening in Homa Bay that those of us who wish to be
in the Council of Governors in the next year, you could pick one or two things that is happening in Homa Bay and use it as a template. Due to time, we shall leave it at that. We wish you a safe journey back home. We shall communicate on when we will